Hello everyone, it's Ruby here, and I attempted to read the document like out loud for video, and I got to page 15 and it kept going and going. So we're just gonna react to the Rosanna video. She basically summarizes it, I think, anyways, so we're gonna do that because I was honestly gonna lose my voice, and honestly it just kept going on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So we'll do it through Rosanna instead. I just couldn't do it anymore.
Hey guys, so I'm sure most of
Shout
you
out to
have seen
Rosanna.
that there's been a lot of news coming out about Mr. Beast, Jimmy Donaldson, some of his employees, and his, in my opinion, terrible business practices.
We're starting to get my
which
thoughts
I've
on this.
seen, honestly, may be illegal. There are a lot of really good videos about this topic that have been coming out in the last few days on YouTube, so I highly encourage everyone to go and watch some of them. Also, I have some more updates and stories from the Beast games, which I will continue to talk about. They are filming the beginning of part 2 of that series in just a few days, and I am still very concerned about the contestants' well-being. So if you're competing in the Beast games, please be aware of what's going on around you. The rumors I'm hearing is that they're still essentially hiring almost all new people to work on the set of Beast games, which, if you ask me, is not enough time to adequately prepare everything safely for the next phase.
Yeah.
Which brings me to why I'm making this particular video. A very concerning document was sent to me who says that this is an internal employee manual written by Mr. Beast Jimmy himself. I confirmed the legitimacy of this document with 2 former Mr. Beast employees. I think that this gives you a little insight to the type of person Jimmy really is. He lays out what he expects from his employees in great detail. To me, the mask has begun to slip, and it truly is a small look into the mind of the Beast. One last thing that I'd like to point out is that this is a document that Jimmy expected people to read. If I had to guess, I'd say he's even having to filter himself in this document. Eesh. I'm going to be posting the full text on my Twitter, and I highly recommend you download it and take a look for yourself. It's long, it's 36 pages. We'd be here for 10 hours if I tried to read the entire thing.
Yeah, I was here for 10 hours.
So I'll just be reading some of the more concerning
I was
parts.
reading it.
Okay.
I was trying to read it for video, and I'm just gonna say I got to page 15, and let's see how long the video was at that moment. Obviously I didn't finish it, but the video was I just want to know how long it was. I didn't see. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the video, I was on page 15, and the video was already 51 minutes, 31 seconds, and I was only on page 15 of 36. So that's why I was like, you know what? No. This is going to be bad.
The title of this document is How to Succeed in Mr. Beast's Production. I'm going to start on page 4, a section he titles, I Only Want A Players. As I type this, I realize it may not be the wisest to categorize everyone into 3 buckets.
But I'm gonna do it anyways.
I believe we should look at everyone a part of the production team. So basically, he already knows what he's about to say is inappropriate, but he can't help himself from doing it and saying it. You're either an A player, B player, or C player. There is only room at this company for A.
I will say, because I have read this part. That was one of the parts that I read. And I will say this. People don't realize you need C players to run a company. You need them. You need them. You know why? Because they need you. And honestly, your C players could potentially become A players and be your most valuable employees. The reason why C players are valuable is because he says it's their average employees. But really, they're more likely to be like college-age students, high schoolers, people who are looking for long-term careers and just getting into a career path. And that can be very valuable. Someone might start out as someone who's just looking to get paid and ends up actually loving the company and ends up becoming a manager and ends up becoming a producer, and you just don't know where they're gonna grow. And honestly, someone who is a C player is probably actually more valuable than an A player, because let's be honest, A players don't need to apply to your company. They already probably have jobs and job offers lined up. The A player is probably not going to stay as long as you want them to, because they're going to be looking elsewhere for other opportunities, especially if the compensation is not great. You know, A players can find a job anywhere. B players even probably can also find a job anywhere. And C players are eager to learn. And yes, they have boundaries. Yes, they have, you know, limits, but you can work around that and turn them into an A player even after. Like, there's a reason why every company has minimum wage paid employees, because they're still valuable people. You need people to have an entry position into your company, so then you can train them and turn them into the A players that you want them to.
Players. A players are obsessive, learn from mistakes, coachable, intelligent, don't make excuses, believe in YouTube, see the value of this company, and are the best in the goddamn world at their job.
The problem is the people that are the best in the world at their goddamn job probably don't want to work with Mr. Beast, because they either want to start their own company or they want to be compensated better than they probably are being at Mr. Beast. So they're more likely going to leave the company within a year or two, because they see, oh, you know what, this workplace is not great, but you know what, I have an offer from Google, or I have an offer from LinkedIn, or I have an offer from whoever, and I'm going to go with them because they seem like a better place to work. Like, seriously, if you don't have benefits, if you don't have proper compensation, no one wants to work with you, and you're not going to get those A players. They're going to go somewhere else, and you're going to be stuck with just C players, which honestly are probably your more valuable employees anyways. People say, oh, you know, what are you going to do about the minimum wage employee? Like, those are your most valuable people. Those are the people who are interacting with your customers, with your fans, with your clients. Your C players are your most valuable employees. People just don't realize it.
B players are new people that need to be trained into A players, and C players are just average employees. They don't suck, but they aren't exceptional at what they do. Okay. That's he's saying they don't suck, but they aren't exceptional. He misspells aren't. The hypocrisy. Let's move on.
He did say that he's a YouTuber, not an author. As if those things are... As if being a YouTuber and an author are like opposites of each other. I'm a YouTuber. I have an English degree. I can write. I know how to spell aren't.
Obsessive, aren't spelled wrong.
You probably could have done with an editor going over this and cleaning up typos and everything.
To a different company immediately, all caps. It's okay. We give everyone severance, so they'll be fine.
And like I said when this was brought up, because I have to kind of reiterate my points because it's lost in a 50-minute video. Severance is only good if you can guarantee that you get another job. Severance is not the end-all be-all. It is not the savior to your life. If that severance runs out, it runs out, and you're unemployed. You're jobless. It doesn't mean that you're okay. It means that you need to get a job, and getting a job can be very difficult, and especially since a lot of C players, as he says, are likely entry employees who have little to no experience, and places who hire are very particular about who they hire. Like, it is very difficult to get in the door when you're an entry-level employee, because most people want senior people, and most people want those A players, but they don't realize that the C players can be their most valuable employees, because they're the ones who are eager to grow and learn with the company. Like, so many companies, like, shit on their minimum wage employees and kind of give them the bad end of the deal. If you treat your minimum wage employee well, they will stay with you for 20 years. They will stay with you for long periods of time, and they will grow and become your most valuable employee of the company. That is something I truly believe in because I've seen it so many times.
I don't even know where to begin with this because he essentially is putting everyone into a system, and he definitely plays favorites at his company.
Oh, definitely.
Anyone he considers an A person, those are his close friends.
I wonder how many female employees he has.
Exactly the way he wants to
Just
behave,
curious.
and then everyone else
most of
is
his
treated
employees are
less
guys.
than. And if you're just a hardworking, everyday person who goes to your job on time, does your job, stays the full hours, gives it your all, and then goes home and has a normal life, like a work-balanced life that's healthy,
like
that is considered a C.
How many women has he
That
hired?
is considered unacceptable in his eyes.
How many
That is
non-white people has he hired?
poisonous in
I'm
his
actually
eyes.
curious on that too.
Anyone who has a healthy work.
Have you ever seen a non-white
balance
person work for Mr. Beast?
is poisonous.
Just
All
curious.
right, moving on. On to page 17, own your mistakes.
Own your mistakes.
This coming from Jimmy, someone who has never owned his mistakes, never taken accountability, and never apologized for any of his poor behavior. He pays someone, a PR team, a spokesperson, and now a crisis management team to speak on his behalf. He never apologizes or takes accountability for anything. This is so hard for me to read because the hypocrisy is so strong. I hate excuses and despise with my entire soul when people just try to save face instead of learn from how they've messed up.
You mean like you?
Mistakes are okay. Genuinely, they are, and I expect you to make a lot. That's perfectly fine. Every veteran here has cost me $1 million at one point or another, and you can go ask them yourselves if I've ever held it over their heads.
Oh, he definitely has.
I'm sure
definitely.
you never hold it over their heads. I'm sure you.
Oh
never
no,
bring it up
100%
again. You
he
don't
has.
mention
It was,
again.
but it was even like mentioned pretty much in the document because I read like 15 pages of this thing. It was even kind of mentioned that he does. Like, he was talking about how, in the past, blah, 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 this went wrong, and you can ask anyone, blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, he holds that stuff rent-free in his head.
You don't write it in an employee handbook. And now that you've brought it up, I just want to ask the question,
Also, yeah, he mentions it right here. Like, if he's never hold it... People don't understand. If you don't hold anything over people's head, then you don't bring it up. You don't mention it. Mentioning it means that you're holding them over their head. If you're like, oh yeah, in the past you did blah 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 blah, like that's holding it over their head. Even if they apologize and you forgive them, let it go, let it go, let it go. Seriously, it's not a true forgiveness if you just keep badgering them about it every 5 days after they've done it. Like, you either make up, you either forgive them, or you don't. And honestly, giving someone your forgiveness and then constantly bringing it up is way worse than just being like, no, I don't forgive you. Because I feel like you're just pulling them along, and it's not fair to either of you. It's just a bad practice in general. I hate when people do that.
Are there any veterans out there who have worked for Jimmy where you feel like he has helped?
Probably like 1,000.
Let me know. My DMs are open. The reason I'm okay with fuck-ups is because I know that's how you learn. I see it as me investing in you and your brain. Parentheses, hence why I have zero tolerance for C players and they must go immediately. Those fuck-ups could be done by an A player.
Oh, so they don't suck, but there are fuck-ups. that's better, right?
That will retain the information.
They don't suck, but they are fuck-ups.
He plays favorites. If you're one of his favorites, you can fuck up as much as you want, and there's no repercussions. But if you're not one of his favorites, if you're not on his good side, you
will be fired.
And you're gone. I just beg you that you learn from every mistake and try not to repeat it. That's when it gets annoying. The hypocrisy. Jimmy, you don't even learn from your mistakes. I've never, ever, ever once fired someone on the spot for messing up. You have nothing to be afraid of. Own it so we can address how to fix it and then move on.
Right. I don't fire them on the spot. I just fire them the next day. So that's better, Even then, so he's not like, oh, you bring it up, you're fired, ejectocito. No, he just says, you know what, he says the next day, here's your severance. Bye.
on. I like that he's boosting about how much self-control he has, that he's never, ever fired someone on the spot for making a mistake. What a great guy. And I have confirmation that instead he has his mom fired the next
Even better.
day. Wonderful self-control.
Yeah,
Page 18.
even better.
Nothing comes before your priorities. When you're being assigned tasks, you should have what I call a prio list. If Ali says your prios are to 1. Get a Lamborghini under 200K. 2. Get it wrapped in anime characters. 3. Make a custom steering wheel. Then nothing on this freaking planet is allowed to come between you and getting those priorities done. If the other team asks for your help and you spend 2 days helping them and fall behind on getting your Lamborghini secured, that's your fault. If the studio is burning down and you stop working to put out the fire and don't get the Lamborghini, that's your fault. Parentheses, jokes, haha.
It means that if you have something happen in your life and like you're hospitalized, you are, in an accident, you lost a family member, you're grieving, there's so many things that could happen. It doesn't matter because you must get that Lamborghini because it's still your responsibility. What a fuck it. What a boss to work for.
Don't let anything come before your prios. I'm just going to read that again for anyone who is missing this. If the studio is burning down and you stop working to put out the fire and you don't get the Lamborghini, that's your fault.
Just kidding.
This is psychotic.
Just kidding.
This is dangerous. He's literally saying that the company culture is if the studio
just a prank, bro.
with employees is burning down, you should not go help and save their lives.
I feel like he added that JK just to make sure people didn't take it too seriously, but he definitely means it.
This way of thinking is psychotic. This is dangerous.
I read about that part, or I guess it was maybe in the Jake video where he talked about the employee that disregarded the COVID thing and was making fun of it and didn't care and was giving COVID to the Mr. Beast employees that were on set. What a crazy world.
It is absolutely unacceptable, which rolls us right into page 19. No does not mean no. For the people out there who are saying he's not edgy anymore, he's learned.
No does not mean no.
This document is pretty new and references some of his newer videos. He has not learned. This is who he is. So the title No Does Not Mean No is a very obvious reference to essay. Instead of communicating in a professional manner, saying be persistent when you're producing or working, no does not mean no is the company culture of Mr. Beast. When dealing with people outside Mr. Beast Productions, never take no at face value. If we need
just think about the amount of businesses that Mr. Beast has worked for, right? Worked with. And think about this. From the viewer side, we think, oh, these companies obviously wanted to work with Mr. Beast. Like, they were down for it because, it's Mr. Beast. They were given permission by the manager and everything. But you have to think about the fact that there are probably locations that didn't want to work with Mr. Beast because of various reasons. For example, I don't know about you, but as a retail worker, I don't want to be filmed. I feel like most retail workers, minimum wage workers, I should say, don't want to be filmed. People are weirded out by the whole filming in Chipotle thing. Like, when I'm working, I don't want to be filmed. I'm a YouTuber. I'm on YouTube. Yeah, I am. But that does not mean I want to be filmed, because when I'm working, I'm working. I don't want you to film me. Number one, I don't want you to dox me, because you're likely to dox me because you probably filmed outside the building, so now everybody knows where I work, and you're probably going to be able to deduce what my name is and who I am, and then you're probably going to be able to figure out where I live based on that, because proximity to work, obviously, and then you're going to know all this shit about me, and you're going to be a person who gets millions of views, and you're not going to care about my privacy when I'm the one in the video and I'm the one who's going to pay for it, because your Mr. Beast fans are going to come after me if I don't please them. And, you know, that is something that is terrifying. Like, as someone who wants to still have some privacy, like people think that, you know, if you're not on this like social media craze thing, then you're weird. But people forget that people want privacy. There are reasons why people want their face blurred. There are reasons why people don't want you filming in their work environment. And just because it's legal doesn't mean it's right. And I feel like a lot of TikTokers and YouTubers and influencers are just spoiled, rotten kids who can't take no for an answer. Like, no does mean no. Just don't do it. Like, or keep them out of the video. Like, if you get a no, you get a no, and it's for any reason, and you don't blast that person for saying no as well, because I think that's happened as well, where people have been like, oh, this person refuses to let me film, now they're gonna kick me out, and now they're calling the police, and I have the right to film, and it's a public area, and just shut up, man. Nobody cares about you. No one's gonna love you at the end of the day, and you're just an annoying piece of shit. Like, what a dick. Like, I guarantee you, most of the people being filmed and put on blast on social media do not want to be filmed, period.
A store to buy everything inside, and you call the local
and it's also
Dollar
crazy
Tree,
that that is a
and the
normal.
person that answers says, no, you can't film here. That literally doesn't mean talk to other employees and see if any are fans or if any have kids.
So basically, he's using his power to coerce these businesses into working with him. Got it. Got it.
Try talking to their boss, their boss's boss. Have me DM them on Twitter and try their social team, etc. If all the other avenues are...
It also could just be company policy to not film. There's a lot of company policies where there is no filming allowed. Like, company policies. So if a location allows you to film, and it's against company policy, and it's get blasted on social media, the company's gonna know, hey, this location disobeyed our no social media policy, and everybody there is fired because they consented to this. Like, it's crazy. There are companies, in fact, that have no social media policies, where no filming, keep the press away, say no to press, and you can't allow them to film. It's not your call to make. It is the company's call to make. Like, they're the ones who's going to see this and is going to be like, what the fuck? Like, come on, like... Oh my god, the ego. You're gonna get people fired. You're gonna kill somebody.
Left with a no. That doesn't mean don't try the other Dollar Trees, because the manager of those could be huge fans.
The manager could be a fan, and he could also be concerned for losing the job or getting fired by the execs when they see this. It's like, there are companies with no filming policies. I work with them.
And willing to bend the rules. This is literally so disgusting, because this is putting everyday working people's jobs at stake.
Yeah.
If it's a company policy not to film there,
yeah.
and you're pressuring them to do
and
so.
It does not matter if it's illegal or illegal. If someone says no, you cannot film, then it's no, you cannot film. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a private or public property. It doesn't matter. Just don't do it. Don't be an ass.
Could get in trouble. They could lose their jobs. That's their income. That's their livelihood. And for what? A YouTube video? You are not more important than any other person in this world. Basically, what I'm trying to convey is what we call pushing through.
God.
No. Don't just stop because one person
Dear
told
God.
you no.
Why would you
Stop
say
when
that?
all conceivable options are exhausted. This is one of the many tools that, when combined dramatically,
Why would you say that,
improve
man?
your probability of success when producing here. This is more the Jimmy I know, someone who uses their money, power, and fame to bully other people into positions that they don't feel comfortable with, that they could get in trouble for, they could lose their jobs, and lose their ability to make income for their family. Next section, work on multiple videos every day. Please do not come in and only work on one video during a work day. That's how you fall behind on future videos and create a nasty
I'm just gonna,
cycle that I'm
speed this
trying
up.
to stop. If you drop everything and go all in on one video for 3 days, then that's 3 days your other videos will fall behind, and eventually you'll have to drop other videos to focus on those videos, and it will snowball into you can't do anything but focus on what's right in front of you because you've murdered any lead time you had. If you ever only work on one video during the day, you failed as a Mr. Beast employee that day. Wow, what a fun boss. Jimmy, this just sounds like people are overworked and you're hiring people who are drowning in work. I think there are some circumstances where you should be just focusing on one thing a day, like safety, having a safety director where that's all they do. That's their job. That's how professional sets are ran. All right, so here's a section with a bunch of random Jimmy thoughts. It's called Random Things You Should Know. Page 23. Let's read a few of them. Do not leave contestants waiting in the sun, parentheses, ideally waiting in general, for more than 3 hours. Squid Games, it cost us $500,000, and Boys vs. Girls, it got a lot of people out. Ask James to know more. Well, have I got stories about people you kept out in the sun for days. We'll come back to that later. Also, when he says ask James to know more, he's referring to an employee called James Warren. You'll probably be hearing this name a lot more in the future, and I'll be covering stories involving him as well. Here's another thought. I'd rather you be honest with each other than nice to each other. I also believe in honesty. I'm a big fan of it, but did you know you can be honest and respectful at the same time?
Oh my god, what a mind-blowing thing.
You can do both.
You
Again,
can do both.
Jimmy cannot take honesty. He can't take honest criticism. He can't take honest feedback.
When people say that they love honesty, they don't really mean that. I'm just saying, they don't really mean that. There's usually some ulterior motive why they're saying that.
With him while working at his
no one says they love an
fired.
honest person like that.
And he truly cultivates a boys club, his favorite boys.
I mean, wasn't it Hitler's policy that honesty is the best policy? I feel like that was a Hitler thing. I don't know.
Carl, Chandler, and Nolan go through me, or Ollie, or Tyler to avoid
maybe that was Benjamin Franklin.
We pivot a lot. Be ready to have everything flipped on its head at a moment's notice. Lol, as someone who's worked on many professional sets, to some degree, this can be true. Especially on location, you can run into factors that you didn't plan for correctly and you weren't prepared for. The ability to adapt and make changes on set is important as little problems arise. But, however, when it comes to people's safety, like on the Beast games, you can't just make changes last minute on the fly at a production scale that large with that many people and have it be okay. And I've been talking to members of the crew who said that they were making changes minutes before some of these dangerous challenges, and they were scared people were going to get hurt, and they did. Oh, here's a great one. I want money spent to be shown on camera, ideally. If you're spending over $10,000 on something and it won't be shown on camera,
I think it was
seriously think about it. And this is why so many people say that he only does charity for camera, because if he can't film it, he doesn't want to do it. Pull all-nighters weeks before the shoot, so you don't have to days before the shoot. If you plan with adequate time, preparation, and staff, your staff will have to be doing all-nighters. Also, the way he's worded it is that there's going to be all-nighters no matter what. So it's either days before the shoot or weeks before. So he's encouraging people, don't sleep weeks before the shoot. And remember, you have to be working on multiple videos at the same time. It pretty much sounds to me like
basically
you're
don't sleep
and you're heavily overworked.
Yeah,
Here's
don't
the last
sleep.
Jimmy thought I'm going to read. Never do anything that can make us look bad from a PR perspective. Jimmy only cares about his image, and Jimmy can also not follow his own advice. If you download the document and read through it, they mention multiple times how important their PR image is, but not once in the entire document do they ever reference doing the right thing. Page 28. The longer people watch, the better a video will do. This is why I'm such a stickler about every single second of content. I wanted to pause and point this out because I see a lot of people, Jimmy fans, leaving comments saying, well, Jimmy didn't do that. His editors did this. And I want it to be very clear that Jimmy approves every single second of footage that goes on his YouTube channel.
Nothing goes on his channel.
He is extremely involved,
without
and nothing goes onto his channel without his approval. I've confirmed this with people who work on Jimmy's videos, and he has literally confirmed this in a document. On page 31, I wanted to point this out because Jimmy is very aware of his demographic and who his audience is. It's very strategic, it's pointed. He says, but despite saying that, at its core, if I had to describe it, I'd say the average Mr. Beast viewer is a teenage memer that likes video games. I'd like you to keep this in mind as more news comes out and unfolds. He is very aware that his audience is youth. Page 34, it's okay for the boys to be childish. It's okay for boys to be boys. The boys club is back, and here we are. If talent, he's referring to his best friend, wants to draw a dick on the whiteboard in a video or do something stupid, let them. Parentheses, assuming they know all the risks and aren't missing context on why it's not safe. People like when we are in our natural element of stupidity. Really do everything you can to empower the boys when filming and help them make content. Help them be idiots. This just shows the culture that he is intentionally building. He plays favorites, there is a boys club, and they are allowed to do things that other people aren't. Page 35, I want famous people in our videos. I can't even read this. We don't fake things. The absolute delusion. Yes, you do, Jimmy. The majority of all your videos are faked. And yes, there is a range of the authenticity. Some of the videos do have some authenticity to them.
It's like he's like, overall, you know, in case somebody else reads this that's not a Mr. Beast employee, we don't fake this.
Really? Really, Jimmy? What's this?
We literally found him 1 minute before Zach.
We literally found Logan Paul. That never happened. Fake. The document ends with talking about your career at Mr. Beast. If you've made it this far, you're probably at least semi-interested in this being your career. So I wanted to chat about it. Because if you're ambitious and want to dedicate your life to work, you pick the best company in America to do it at. The Delusion.
The best company in America. I can name at least 10 companies that are better than working at Mr. Beast in America.
love to see the benefits of the best company in America. I would love to see the policies about your maternity leave,
Any other
paternity leave,
company.
paid time off,
Any
which
other
it doesn't
company.
seem like
Just
working
pick
for
any
you
other
is
company.
encouraged ever. And from what I'm hearing, you don't even like people taking holidays off, such as Christmas. This sounds like the worst company to work for in America to me. If you want to become a production manager, tell James your intention and ask him why you suck and how you can become better. Seriously, he'll give you a list of things that you need to improve to become what we need. And if you actually listen and master those things, we will give you a shot at the role. Parentheses. Only problem is most people think they are better than they really are and don't take seriously when we give them things to improve and then wonder why they never move up. I actually agree with Jimmy here. I do think that some people think that they're better than they are and that they don't take things seriously to improve. This isn't a stepping stone. This is your final destination.
Final destination? Jeez, he's gonna be like, you're gonna die with the company. That's why they were trying to kill Jade. That's why they were trying to kill Jake Weddle. So this could be his final destination. Oh my god.
All I can think about are the horror films, so moving forward. Now, read this all over again because I guarantee you didn't retain enough. I literally love that he ends his document by getting in one more jab to the new employees who are reading through this. Now, read it again because I guarantee that you're an idiot. Read it again because I guarantee you can retain something.
Okay.
Like just throwing an insult in there and talking down to people. A lot of people can read something and retain it. Projection much? All of that just barely scratches the surface of what's in here, so I will be posting the whole thing on my Twitter, so if you'd like to read through it, you can. To me, working for Mr. Beast sounds very toxic and dangerous. It's a boys club where everyone is overworked. It is almost cult-like. It's someone who cares about the work and not about the people. To end the video, I wanted to read some quotes, excerpts from an article written by
Okay, never mind. Okay. So we got the gist of that. Yeah. We're gonna do a separate video on my collective thoughts on Mr. Beast now that we've kind of seen everything that we kind of need to see. Obviously, there's gonna be more coming out, and we will watch those as well. But pretty much this is gonna be it for the Mr. Beast coverage, except for the final video that I'm gonna do, or at least for right now, on my thoughts and kind of recapping my thoughts. But in general, yeah, I mean, Mr. Beast is not someone I would apply for. Let's just put it that way. Let me know down in the comments down below. Would you, reading all of this, knowing all of this, let's say put aside the controversy and everything, reading this document, if you read this document, would you want to work with Mr. Beast after reading this, knowing that this is what you see when you're applying for the company? This is not even day one. This is not orientation. This is literally, you click on like the LinkedIn link or the Indeed job post and you see, please read this before applying, and you click on it and you read that. Let me know if you would work for that company. Comment down below. And until next time, peace out, guys. It's been a blast. Bye.